All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom to your brothers that are laboring and pushing this word in truth and sincerity and with charity. I'm the brother Abraham from the camp here in GMS Chicago. Coming back at you with another lesson. And I just wanted to share something that I came across from one of the text commentaries in the Blue Letter Bible for Psalms 137 that I was reading. And, sometimes I like to read the commentaries just randomly. Sometimes you'll find some nuggets of information that you may have not known. Kind of like the book Laws and Customs of the Bible. You find information that helps you understand the scriptures better, right? To give you another layer of understanding in the scriptures. All right, so I was reading Psalms 137. I'm going to read a couple of verses. It says, Psalms 137 and 1, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Right now, obviously, Babylon was one of our captivities, in which we went to Babylon in exile, and they ransacked the temple and spoiled all our goods. Alright, and we went into captivity, the southern kingdom, right? So let's go to the commentaries. Let's go David Guzik's study guide for Psalms 137. Alright. So it says, rivers of Babylon. These might have been the Tigris and Euphrates, or their branches, or streams that flowed into them. In their captivity and dispersion, it was customary for the Jews to hold their religious meetings on the banks of rivers. Mention is made of this in Acts 16 and 13, where we find the Jews of Philippi resorting to a riverside where prayer was wont to be made. Alright, so let's read Acts 16 and 13. Acts 16 and 13. And from thence to Philippi, which is of the chief city of that part of Macedonia and a colony, and we were in that city abiding certain days. And on the Sabbath we went out of the city by a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made, and we sat down and spake unto the woman which resorted hither. Alright, so just giving an example of the scripture that they did that. Right? So it was customary in our captivity and dispersion for Jews to hold their religious meetings on the banks of rivers. Okay. And we are still yet this day in our captivity, right? In our dispersion, in exile. Alright, it says, based on verse 1, Horn suggested this cry of mourning from a repentant one. O Lord, I am an Israelite, exiled by my sins from thy holy city, and left here to mourn in this Babylon, the land of my captivity. Here I dwell in sorrow by these transient waters, musing on the restless and unstable nature of earthly pleasures. All right. Um, so I just saw as some spiritual that um, in our exile, Jews, Israelites hold it on to these meetings by banks of rivers, right? And this word is likened unto water. Okay. Um, John was baptized with water, right, which was symbolic for the word, all right, which the word is Yahweh Shai. Okay. Um, and the scriptures say, "How shall a young man cleanse his way by the washing of water by the word?" Okay. So I just thought that was kind of interesting and spiritual when you look at it. Okay. And right now we're in exile, crying out to the Lord, "How long, O Lord?" Right? Because all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? Um, Vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. All right, let's continue on in Psalms 137. It says, "How shall we sing, O the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy." Right? So our captors, right, were mocking us. Right? Sing us one of those songs of Zion. Right? Pretty much nowadays it's they look at us as a spectacle, right? Just to entertain them, right? Even to this day, and it was like that back then, right? They just look at us as entertainers, and to entertain them, to be a spectacle unto them, right? Because Jake is talented, Jake is special, right? In music, in sports, in acting, okay, in everything, right? The portion of Jacob is not like them. He is the former of all things, okay? This verse 7 says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." So our enemies, beginning with Esau, Edom, wanted to destroy everything, the people, the place, everything. It tells you that in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, right? That the name of Israel be no more in remembrance, and all the nations were confederate. They were all together on it. And this is why all these nations must get their judgment as well. But that list begins with Esau, Edom. All right, it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us." Right? So here it correlates Edom and Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, right? Because ancient Babylon obviously fell as an empire. So who was it speaking of? Who's the daughter of Babylon today? Who is Edom today? Alright? And they're gonna get paid double what they did to us. It says, happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. Right? And yesterday I did a sit down. If you watched the other Manat Zakba's video, in which he had a clip of this Edomite woman who broke down the ritual of white lynchings and how these kids were a part of the lynchings. The whole community was part of the lynchings. Okay, it was a whole spectacle when they lynched somebody. Right, the whole crowd gathered. They beat whoever was gonna be lynched. Made them suffer, burned them, cut off their hands. All right, they took pictures to sell those pictures. They kept they dismembered whoever they lynched. They kept them as souvenirs. They kept the teeth. All right, and these kids all had a a part in those lynchings. All right, and these kids grew up and had kids of their own. And again, these are all the same spirits back again. All right, so this is why you still have that perpetual hatred between these two nations, these two people, right? Which in the womb were separated to be different nations and peoples. All right, and this is why you have these racial tensions that you see, because it's all spiritual. It all goes back to Jacob and Esau. All right, and all the accounts in the scriptures is that perpetual hatred. Haman, he tried to destroy Israel, right? But at the end, he got destroyed. And that's going to be the lot for Esau in our time as well. Right? It seems and it looks like he has it all, and that, we don't have a way out of this. Right? But we have faith in the Lord that he's going to make a way out of this. Right? Because the scriptures say he shall not at all acquit the wicked. He's not going to let the guilty go away innocent. All right? But, I just wanted to share that. I was wanted to put that and share it with y'all brothers as well. But I'm ending there, Lord willing. This video was edifying. As always, all honor, glory, and praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.